emerald personality. So, excuse me, you're going to get some of that on this call. So if you're sapphire or a pearl personality, just hang with me. It's good info, I promise, and it'll really help boost your business. And then also, I just wanted to start off with a couple questions, just because there are so many new faces on our team, and I don't know all of you, and I don't know your situations. And so I was just kind of wondering, by a show of hands really fast before we get started, how many of you are completely debt-free, including credit cards, medical bills, vehicle, mortgage, and school loans? Raise your hands. Wow, Amy, I salute you. I don't know if there are many. I was expecting like 0. And so congratulations. How many of you have had financial freedom or paying off debt as part of your original why when you guys got started? Raise your hands. Yeah, me too. I think it's a really common thing. A lot of us, all of us want to help people as part of our goals as a coach. But many of us got into the business side of this because of the income as well. We're wanting to create some kind of financial freedom in our lives. Now, just a couple more questions before we get started. Please raise your hand if your end game is to use Beachbody income as the supplement for your current income. Like, that's where you want to go. You still want to work your current job and then use this to supplement. Okay, there's a couple of you. And then what if you want to create a full-time business and make coaching your career? Okay, you guys definitely need to listen then, because I think it's so easy for us to get started and get excited to make a little bit of money, and then kind of like it just withers away. I don't know. And then anybody here currently rely on their Beachbody income as their sole source of income, like their full-time job already? Becca, our fearless leader. Okay. I'm going to look at the chat really fast because this is the last time. Is it cutting out for anyone else? No? Okay. Sorry, Marilena. I'm going to go ahead and switch over. I've never screen shared before, so give me half a second. I think it's this one. Okay, can you all see it? A little thumbs up? Okay, great. So really quick about me, I've been a Beachbody coach for just over a year, like Becca was saying. I'm a full-time stay-at-home mom with my 2 boys, and my family's always been extremely tight financially. It was a stretch for me to stay home with my boys, but it was so important that we really wanted to make it happen. And so we made cuts all over the place. We did a lot of couponing. We did, we cut out like Netflix, all of that stuff just to make it happen. In June of last year, it was my first month as a Beachbody coach. I made enough to pay for my challenge pack, my husband's challenge pack when I signed him up as a coach, and still had over $100 left in my pocket. I was so excited about this that I threw myself into coaching full time and really saw the huge income potential. After years of living on one income, I was so excited. I knew I had found something pretty incredible. And I was really excited to just be able to contribute to our family's monthly budget, all while being able to stay at home with my boys. During my Getting Started Right call, I hope all of you guys have had that with your sponsoring coach. But I remember I was talking to Becca, and she asked me, in 6 months, what is your like crazy, outlandish, I hope that this gets there kind of goal financially? What would you like to be making? And I was like, I don't know. And I was almost embarrassed to say that I really just wanted to make $500 a month. I was like, that sounded so incredibly out there for me, because at this point, I don't think I had made a dime. We were like 2 weeks in. And it just sounded so crazy to me to think $500 in 6 months. I'm like, that would be incredible. I just didn't think it was possible. And so, however, sooner than that, I started making that much and even more. However, after building my team doing my 3 vital behaviors daily, getting to diamond, and feeling comfortable to stretch our bank account, I realized that I wasn't really paying off any debt outside of the random medical bills that were coming in from my second born. We were eating out more. We were making more trips to Target. We were buying more stuff that we didn't need, but it sure did feel good. And we weren't really getting any closer to our dreams, even though the extra income was coming in there. It was like the more we made, the more we spent. So in January, I decided that enough was enough. I wanted to walk the walk and not just talk the talk. I didn't just want to live bigger. I wanted to live better. And so I took the time to rework our personal budget, to create some new bank accounts, and to plan for our future. Let me see here. Oh, I missed that slide. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so let me say that first, I think you really need to start with a vision. You got to ask yourself, what are your top priorities? No matter what, we say this with our challengers all the time. If there are very few instances that they honestly cannot afford it. Typically, if they want something bad enough, and this is all human nature, guys, like this is normal. If you want something bad enough, you're going to make it happen. I remember at one point I really wanted an iMac, and we were missionaries on the field living overseas. And overseas, they're like 2 to 3 times as much. And I really wanted one. And so I scrimped, I saved, I made it happen. And then I got somebody to bring it down with me, and then just paid like $100 for customs for it to come through, because I knew that if I really wanted something, I would find a way to do it. And I did. So you've always heard us say it a million times, if you want something and you're really ready for a change, you're going to make it happen. So you guys have to decide what you really want. Sit down with your spouse and decide on what's most important to you together. And this is going to be different for everyone. And that's perfectly okay. But as a couple, if you're married, you definitely want to sit down together. You have to have common goals and a common vision to move forward so that you can chase them together. If your spouse isn't on board, it's going to be really hard. You guys are going to be going 2 different directions, or he's going to be sabotaging you. I'm sure as a coach, you've seen this several times where like the wife is really trying to lose weight, but then the husband keeps bringing the cookies and the crap home. And it makes it really, really difficult. However, when they get on the same page at the same time and move forward, that's an incredibly driving force. So, even though you guys may have a few different goals here and there, you guys got to sit down and come up with one common goal that you can really strive for. For some of us, our priorities may not be the Beachbody coaching thing. Like it may just be something on the side, and that's okay. If being a hobby coach is your thing, that's perfectly fine. However, if you're really wanting to go for it and be a rock star coach and get to the top, you have to set that as one of your main priorities. If you have a vision board or a dream board, anything like that, I really hope you do. If you're brand new, you may not know what that is, and that's okay. We can talk about that. But if you have one of those, sit down and reverse engineer. I don't know how many of you guys have heard of this phrase, but if you reverse engineer your goals, it makes it a lot easier. You have this like 1-year goal, and then you break it down into, in 6 months, I want to be here. In 3 months, I want to be here. In 1 month, I want to be here. And so you can break it down into smaller chunks so it's actually doable. And then make sure you're coming up with smaller, time-sensitive goals. If you've ever heard the phrase SMART goals, they're specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. So they're time-sensitive. Now, what's your reality? Your financial situation is different from everyone else's. Don't compare yourself or think that there's a one-size-fits-all approach to this business. This is also kind of I don't know what you want to call it, a preface to this conversation where this is just what's worked for me. If you find something else that works for you, awesome. But if you don't have a system in place, I suggest you get one. And this is a really great one that's worked for me. Also, comparison, I've been telling myself this has been my my mantra in my head recently that comparison's the thief of joy. It's really easy to look at yourself and look at others and say, look how far they are and look where I'm at. Or look at this person, they came into coaching after me and they're making a lot more, or they're this rank and that rank. Like, your situation is different from everybody else's, and that's okay. Do you fully rely on your Beachbody income? Because if so, your goals and the way you attack and strategize this is going to be a little bit different. Can you just live off of your spouse's income or your day job? If so, that will help you get out of debt like a million times faster, because all of your Beachbody income should be going into, when I say income, I mean profits, should be going into paying off debt and just rolling that out really fast. I'm sorry. Or do you just use the money because it's there? That's the trap that Josh and I were in for the longest. It just became easier to eat out more often, or to go to Target and randomly drop $50. And I'm like, what the heck did that just happen? So gather all of your bills, debts, loans, all of that stuff together so you can get a real picture of where you are. That's why I really like this quote off to the side. It says, see it for what it is, not what you want it to be. I think a lot of times, especially in the US, we have this like bigger and better mentality that we always have to be like keeping up with the Joneses. We want our parents' house now, when in reality, our parents lived and worked for that house for, 50 years. Yeah, now they're enjoying the fruits of their labor, but our generations, my generation, the generation that came after me, we expect to have all of that like now in our 20s and in our 30s. We're expecting to already have that. Whereas the reality is that our generations have the most accumulated debt because we went to college, or most of us did, and just gained a crap ton of debt. And so we need to sit down and get a reality check and see where you're at. However, don't freak out. My husband is like he has classic anxiety, and every time he sits down with bills, it freaks him out. So I'm the financial person in our family, because it definitely gets worse before it gets better. I don't know how many of you guys have been following along on Becca's decluttering journey, I guess you could call it, but she has shown some pictures, and it's exactly what I think of when I think of that book. And she talks about getting all of the stuff in one room. I look at it and I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know where to go with that. And it's because it gets worse before you can ever get better. You have to know the reality of your situation. It's also important to bring all the numbers together. If you're a Sapphire personality, I know this sounds about as fun as a funeral, but trust me, it's definitely worth it. Next, we create a zero balance budget. Now, I first learned about this and a few of the other techniques from Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University about 7 years ago when my husband and I went through it. There are obviously many, many other theories out there on how to get out of debt and pay off your bills. However, Dave Ramsey's has worked for me, and it's worked for a lot of other people. I'm not saying it's the only way to go, but it really is a fantastic program. Excuse me. The zero balance budget is by far the hardest, longest, most tedious part of this process. It's essentially when you, like, I'm comparing it back to Becca's journey again. When you get all of your clothes in one room and you're literally picking up one item at a time and deciding where it goes, that's essentially what you're doing with your money with this zero balance budget. You're picking up one bill, one payment, one loan, one credit card at a time, looking at your income and deciding where every penny is going to go. It's super tedious. It's not fun at all. If you're a Sapphire or not a numbers personality, then you definitely want to get some help, because this is like almost the entire thing boils down to having some kind of budget. Now, if you don't tell your money where to go, you'll wonder where it went. I don't know how many of you guys have done this where You just get paid, and then like a week later, you're like, what the heck? Where'd it go? Or for Beachbody, when we get paid every week, I get paid by Thursday, and then I would look at my account on like Saturday or Sunday, and I'm like, what? I just got paid. Where did it all go? It's amazing. You can look around and do that, but no more. Not with a zero balance budget. Gather your most recent bank statements and try to figure out how much money you typically spend on each category. Now, this is going to be probably a little shocking. I know some of the categories that I use are groceries, utilities, clothing, education, auto, gas. There are many, many more. If you guys want my zero balance budget, it is, well, I use an app now, but I did use an Excel sheet. So if you would like an Excel sheet, I would be happy to share that as well. But it was shocking how much I was spending on groceries the first time. We were spending we took like 8 or 9 trips to Publix in a month, and we were spending like over $250 a lot of times at Publix. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, it was just Josh and I who eats that much food. It's ridiculous. And so, and then clothing, I never thought that I had very much clothing, but I was dropping like a good $50 to $100 on clothing just because there was a sale. And so you may be pretty shocked. You don't think you spend that much, but then you start gathering it from your bank account, and you're like, oh, wow, okay. So now I use an app. It's also a website. I use Every Dollar. It's actually by Dave Ramsey. It goes all based off of his Total Money Makeover, Financial Peace University, the kind of the things that I'm telling you now, but it helps you to create a zero balance budget. There's a free version. I think it's everydollar.com that you can go there, and there's a free version where you can manually input all of your information. Or if you want to pay, I think it's $99 a year, it'll automatically import all your information from your bank, and then you can just drag and drop it. It makes it super easy. I have also heard good things about Mint and Quicken, but I have never used them personally. Okay. The next thing is to find areas to cut the fat. Here's where you got to be honest with yourself. You may have to cut down on your spending because you've been living out of your means. It's a really easy trap to get into in the US. We've been told over and over, like, you need this, you have to have this. And we grew up with cable. We grew up with all of these things. And so finding the ways to trim the fat is not easy. It's really hard going from living in luxury to cutting down. And a lot of things we don't even think of as luxury. We think they're just like standard you have to have, and you don't, especially if you want to get out of debt. So here's some questions for you. This is not to be attacking in any way, shape, or form. These are just some questions to get you thinking of where you may be able to cut the fat. Do you really need another haircut? Do you have to buy organic? Do you need more shoes or another outfit? Can you buy consignment? If you go shopping just to look, are you going to end up spending money? This is my downfall, guys. I'm like, oh, I just want to get out of the house. Let me just go shopping. I'm just going to look at Target. And then I drop by the dollar section and spend like $10 on crap. Okay, so do you have to treat yourself with a fancy meal out? Guys, we're not dogs. We don't need to treat ourselves with food. We can treat ourselves with other things. Can you cut back any costs, like your cell phone bill or cable, internet, any of those things? Can you drop down to a lower plan? There's also ways to get creative and have more affordable ways of fun, like childcare swapping. If you're going out on a date night, try to get together with another family or someone else where you can swap childcare. Date nights at home sounds really lame, but it really can be some fun. Walks in the park, rent a movie versus watch one at the theater. Go to a beauty school for hair care. Seriously, guys, I went from spending like $100, maybe more, each time I went to go get a haircut to $35. And that's with highlights, though I need it right now. Take 1 month hiatus from buying any clothing. I know that sounds hard, but You can do it. You totally can. Meal plan to cut down on eating out and buying in bulk as much as possible. Buy only what you need, though. Don't buy too much extra. Like when I buy in bulk, I buy meats, I buy quinoa. I buy like a lot of like the things that are going to hold for a long time. And then when it comes to produce, I still buy some of those at Sam's and Costco. Yes, I have both memberships because both places have different things cheaper, and I'm willing to make 2 different stops to get the cheaper items. But I try not to buy more than what I actually need. If it's something that I know we're not going to use very much of, I will go make a quick trip to Aldi or to the local supermarket and buy just a little bit. The next idea is something that we just recently started doing. And even if you don't have a big yard, you can totally still do it. Plant a gutter garden or container garden for your favorite fruits and veggies. I know this sounds crazy, but I just harvested tonight, and there's seriously like enough for a small army to have a salad. I'm just saying. So you don't need a lot of space and you don't need a lot of money, but it really does give you a lot of food really cheap. And it's going to be organic if you buy it that way, and non-GMO and all of that good stuff. So your next step is going to be to save $1,000 in an emergency fund. This is for any emergencies that pop up. It's not to save for a specific reason. Like we really, really, really want some hardwood floors. And so it would be really easy to just like add that extra little bit into that, but that's not what it's for. It's for an emergency. So say our car breaks down or the air conditioner goes out or something medically pops up and we have to pay for it. We have $1,000 ready to go. Don't have to use any credit cards. We're good to go. At this point, you want to stop using all credit cards. If you have any consumer debt from credit cards, definitely stop using them. Take them out of your wallet, not even like a just in case emergency card. Like just don't do it. If something breaks, use your emergency fund and then replace the funds as soon as possible. That's always like you need to keep $1,000 in there. So if you use up 250 of them to pay your deductible or something like that, your very next thing to do is to pay back that 250 into your emergency fund. And the beautiful thing about that, there's no interest. Start paying the minimum on all your bills, credit cards, and loans until the savings account is completely full at $1,000. I know that sounds really crazy because when I first heard that, I was like, I don't pay the minimum on anything. I was taught to never pay the minimum. However, that really helped me to to be able to save this up pretty quickly. The next step, I guess you could say, is a debt snowball. Many of you guys have probably heard of it. It's where you roll all extra income into your debt payoff. You list all of your debts, bills, loans, anything like that, your cars, all of that, and you write it all out in a list with the lowest payoff amount at the top and the highest payoff amount at the bottom. You don't include your mortgage if you own your home. If you rent, obviously that's not a bill that's ever going away, so you don't include that either. While still paying the minimum on all of them, you're going to put extra towards the bill at the top of the list. When that item's paid off, then you'll roll that amount plus the amount that you were paying currently onto the next item, and it like slowly picks up steam. This is really slow at first, but it's like a snowball. It'll eventually tip and like start going faster and faster. It's the compound effect. Same as what we talk about with our income, debt's the same way. It's slow rolling at first, but it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and goes faster. So don't worry about interest rates. The idea is to gain momentum. If you start paying off a large bill that has a larger interest rate, you're more likely to lose steam and give up. So it's all the whole mentality stuff that we tell our challengers all the time. Save. The next step after you paid like all of your debts ever is to save 300.
It's 9 o'clock.
It's 9 o'clock here, guys. To save 3 to 6 months worth of your income. This is for your general savings. Again, it's not towards any one specific project. It's just to help you save on top of your emergency fund. Because let's face it, not every emergency is going to be less than $1,000. If you lose your job, if somebody all of a sudden becomes sick, you're going to want to have some extra cash on hand to make sure that all of your bills are paid and you're not like homeless. Okay, so the next step, a lot of us, especially if you are wanting to go full steam with Beachbody and create like this dream life, you're going to want to retire your spouse. Like the whole idea is one day, I don't want my spouse to have to work or to have to go out to some job. Like I want him to be able to be at home with us. And I know that's a lot of people's goals in Beachbody. Now, this is not from anybody else. This is me specifically. So if you don't agree with me, feel free. I mean, opinions are like buttholes. Everybody has one and it stinks. So it's okay for you to disagree with me. But I suggest that you have 6 to 12 months worth of income saved up. This, especially if you have a family, if you have a house, if you have pretty much anything tying you to any kind of responsibility, you'll want to have some extra income just in case. You never know when something crazy is going to happen. You never know when, you never know. Even if you're a rock star coach, you never know if you're going to get in some, not to be depressing, but horrible accident or get incredibly sick and you're not going to be able to work for a little bit. And so you'll want to have some income saved up before you retire your spouse and you're like, woohoo, we're free. We do whatever we want. So, but with that, take all of the aspects into consideration. A lot of times we just think of their, like being out their income. But instead of that, this is kind of what we had to do when we were deciding if I could stay home or not and how much money we would need to be able to do it. You got to think about a lot of things like insurance. Did you get insurance through them? If so, then you'll need to look around and see how much that's going to cost under you. Because sometimes the company that they're working for is subsidizing that insurance for you. So you'll definitely want to know those facts and figures before you decide that you're free. And then did they have a company vehicle? I know there's not many people that get company vehicles anymore, but sometimes they get a stipend for gas or something like that. And we've gotten used to getting those things. And so if they're gone, can you live on one vehicle? If you can, fantastic. No issues. If you can't, then how much is another vehicle going to cost you? Can you afford to pay for it in cash? How much is the insurance on the new vehicle going to cost you? All of those things. Also, did you get any discounts for them? Like if they were military, public service, school districts sometimes give discounts and stuff like that, like if you travel a lot. And so if you got any kind of discount or promotion through their job, just realize you're not going to get those anymore. And if it's something that you rely on, like say you have a gym membership and you get free whatever, or you are used to going to the movies and you are used to paying a discounted rate, you're not going to get those anymore. And so are you okay with that? Like, do you need to make some extra income in order to change that? Just things to take into consideration. And then the last thing is you'll be using less gas, you'll be using less maintenance on your vehicle, and your family will be able to eat at home instead of eating out. And so those are some things that can put money back into your pocket that a lot of times people don't think of either. And if you're live in Florida and take toll roads, it could be like a lot of money back in your pocket. Okay, I know a lot of you guys are like, extra money? What's that? That's really cute. It'll take me forever to save up $1,000 for the emergency fund. How will I ever get to paying off debt? That's exactly what I thought, like those exact words 7 years ago when I first read this. I was like, yeah, that's funny. I'm never, like, it's going to take me a year or more. I really thought that I wouldn't be able to put back more than like $5 each month into this general fund. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to start it anyway. I'm just going to start and see what happens. We were like drowning in debt and I could barely afford our monthly bills. So I'm like, I'll just put back $5 a month. Well, it was pretty amazing because after I cut the fat, I learned to live a more disciplined life. And I found that we could actually pay all of our bills and saved $1,000 in less than 3 months. Now, I'm not going to say that we had a lot of fun those 3 months. We rented movies like I think twice from Redbox back when it was still $1, and that was pretty much our extent. And then I think we went for Jeremiah's once. But other than that, we did not eat out. The first month, I thought we were going to starve because I created a budget. And I'm one of those people that, like, once I create it, we're going to stick to it or it goes out the window and I'm never touching it again. So, yeah, anyway, so we almost starved the first month. But it is doable. So let's specifically look at our Beachbody income and how we can come up with extra cash to save for our emergency fund, pay off our debt, retire our spouses, and then build the life that we've been dreaming of. First, some of you guys may have heard this back when, sometime in the fall, Becca did a call for the Bombshell Dynasty, and she talked to us about taxes and just some of the financial side that, I don't know, when I listened to it, I was like, glorious. I thought it was so intelligent. And so, number one, you want to create a separate checking account just for your Beachbody income. If your bank charges for a checking account, I suggest you move to a different bank, or you can see if maybe you can direct deposit, because since ours are direct deposited anyway, usually as long as it's over a certain amount per month, then you can get it for free. So create a separate checking account just for your Beachbody income. Then when it comes in, you have kind of several options here. I tried to do it every week, but I could not keep up with which weeks I had done it and which weeks I hadn't. So after January, I was like, screw that idea. And now at the end of every month, so like May just ended, so now I should have done it today, but I'll be doing it tonight. Now at the end of the month, I take all of the previous month's income and I then split it all. I don't touch it for the whole month until the month is over, if that makes any sense. So my money gets direct deposited in there from both my account and my husband's coaching account. And then I divide it into 4 parts. I have tithe, which comes straight off the top. I have taxes next, business expenses, and then I go into savings, which I've got my $1,000 saved up. So now I go into debt payoff. And then if you've already paid off your debt because you're like Amy and you're awesome, then you are building your dream income. So your percentages also might be different depending on your situation. So if your income, you're living off of this is your sole income, they may be a little bit different. Like you live off of 30%, and guys, think about it. By the time you're living off of your income, 30% of your income is a decent amount. Like 30% of your income, if you're making $100 a month, is like, wow, $30. But once you're living off of your income, usually you've hit some kind of financial goal to where 30% is a decent amount. So live on 30%, put 20% back into the business, 10 into tithing, 20 for taxes, and 20 for savings, debt, dream building. I mean, you guys can play with the percentages however you feel, but these are just my suggestions again. So let's look at tithe. Why tithe? 10% right off the top. This is a biblical principle. You can do more with 90% than you can do with 100%. I know a lot of people don't really believe that. Even Christians have a really hard time, and they'll wait until the end of the month and they'll be like, I don't have enough money to tithe. Well, you're going to have enough money if you take it straight off the top. It's the only thing in the Bible that God tells us to test him on. And there's Malachi 3:10, where it talks about bringing the whole tithe into the storehouse so that there's food in the house. Test me in this, says the Lord God Almighty, and see if I will not throw the floodgates of heaven open and pour out so much blessing that you won't have enough room for it. Basically, that's the whole, you can do more with 90 than you can with 10, because God's going to bless you and provide like even more. More sales will come in, more people to bless. Like, it's just a blessing all the way around. Everyone says that they want to be able to give, but never have enough money. So if you give it straight off the top, you'll always have enough. Like, I don't care whether you're giving to the church, whether you're giving to missions, whether you're giving to your favorite charitable cause, non-for-profit, or if you're giving to just a needy family or family member or a homeless guy on the street, just give the 10%. It's a win-win situation. They get blessed, you get blessed, everybody's happy. And then I really like this quote. It comes from Dave Ramsey as well. And it says, we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. Okay. So then taxes, 25%. I think Becca actually suggests 30. Not really sure, but I do 25. So make a separate savings account because if you leave it in your own account, it's likely to get spent. Make a separate savings account and put this percentage directly into that account to make sure that it's saved back. You do not want to get slapped with a hefty little fine at the end of the year, or not fine, but tax payment at the end of the year. Check with your CPA to see if you should be saving more since they know your exact situation, state tax regulations and all of that stuff. If you don't have a CPA, I suggest you get one, or at least you should get one. Make sure you start saving for taxes as soon as possible. If you make more than $600 in the calendar year, you have to report it on your federal taxes, and you don't want to be slapped with a huge tax payment next year, so plan ahead. Now your state taxes may have different requirements. I don't know. Florida, I don't think has state tax because I don't remember ever paying it. However, in Missouri we do, and it sucks. So just make sure you check with your state to see what you should be doing. Okay. Business expenses should be, this percentage can vary, but I suggest 35, especially when you're first starting out. This money is money that goes back into your business. It pays for Shakeology, coaching fees, new programs that you want to try that are coming out, prizes for your challengers, gifts and recognition for your team because you should be. Incentives, this is like if you are incentivizing a challenge pack sale. Personal development, any books or seminars or anything that you go to for personal development can come out of this money. Summit, as in your ticket, if you didn't earn a free one, your hotel, your transportation, all of that stuff. Meals, even, I think it's 50% tax deductible, but even then, it can come out of this account as well. Transportation and meals for Beachbody vacations, retreats, all of that stuff. And then Super Saturday and other events, I know a lot of them require you to buy a ticket, just save your receipt. And then certifications. If you're getting certified for size or PIO or one of those, you can pay for it out of Beachbody money, so it doesn't have to come out of pocket. If you put the money back now every month or every week, however you're doing it, then you're going to have money for when they come up. It really irks me. I hate hearing people say that they can't afford to go to Summit because you can if you're putting the money back every month. And it's such a huge benefit to your business that there's really no reason not to. Most of these, if not all, are tax deductible, so make sure you keep your receipts. And they'll reduce the end of your year payment, or if you're paying quarterly, it just kind of depends. Ask your CPA. But they will tell you which ones of these qualify. I know all of these qualify according to my CPA, so I keep my receipts for everything. And then also you can scan your receipts and keep them digitally. Just make sure that you have everything backed up in case anything happens to your computer. Okay, now the last part, which is like the most exciting part. The 30%, all of this income goes directly to building your $1,000 emergency fund savings first. So after you take out those other percentages, then this 30% goes straight into your $1,000 emergency fund. Once that fund is full, then you go into your debt list. And then that's when you start snowballing all of your debt. And if you can add extra money from your living account, like from your personal account, from your normal daytime job or your spouse's job, awesome. It'll go even faster. It's incredible how much you can pay off. And in 9 months, no, not even. Yeah, in 9 months, my husband and I paid off $12,000 worth of debt. And we did not work good jobs. We worked a couple part-time jobs. It was not great. And so you can totally do it. I know a lot of you guys are thinking that this will take a long time, and I'm not going to lie, it will. However, I'm still in this phase But just remember that Beachbody income is exponential. It's not going to stay the same as it is this month. It's going to continue to grow as long as you continue to do your 3 vital behaviors. So this process gets much faster than it does with a traditional steady wage income. So that should make you like super excited. After you've worked your way through your entire debt list, then you can start working on your 3 to 6 month general income savings or general savings. The last thing to work on is long-term wealth. So that's when you can like pay off your mortgage, start college funds for your kids. I know a lot of you probably already have. I have too. I don't know. You're not supposed to, but it's hard because society tells us all the time that we're supposed to. Save towards the dream life goals, and then save with Roth IRAs, stocks, all of that stuff. And then this is also the time that you work on really going after those really cool dreams and goals, like new flooring in your house. It's not a necessity, but it's things that we just want and would be lovely. I don't know why that is in there again. Oh, that's weird. I just didn't change the top. Okay. So this is a final closing thing. Faith without works is dead. It's something that you hear in the church a lot if you're a Christian. And it just means that it's not about believing. It's not just about believing. It's about putting some actions behind those beliefs. And so that got me to thinking, and I thought, dreaming without a plan is like taking a trip without a map. You might get there eventually if you're lucky, but you'll likely take the long way around. So if you don't have a budget and you don't have a set out plan to get yourself financially free, yeah, you may get there eventually. I mean, this business is pretty incredible, but I want you to be enjoying the freedom and that full life earlier rather than later. So these are a couple action steps. Just because Vanessa did them last time, and I really liked them, so I'm going to do them. First things first, I want you to set your priorities and create a budget. Then create a checking account just for your business and a savings account for your taxes if you haven't already done that. Track your progress each week and let your tracker keep track of the math for you. I have, as I said, I don't know how many of you guys weren't on at the beginning, but Becca was talking about how there's trackers and we should every Thursday do our trackers. I do them, I swear, just haven't done it yet today. But you should track your progress every single month. And I wonder if it will let me show this. Can you guys see my tracker? Yes? Okay. So I've been doing this, I told you, since January. Here. I hide things so I don't have to see the entire thing. But, wait. Oh no, I unhid it. Nah. Okay. Unhide. Okay, so you can kind of see. I have something where it puts all of we put our income in right here. This is from my business center. This is from my husband's. And then it automatically adds it all in here. And then I've set it up to where it automatically adds all of your income together at the bottom. If you have 2 accounts, not everybody has a spouse account, but if you do. And then it automatically divides everything out for you each month. So I know I don't have to like go in and do the math. When I go into my bank account, I can literally go in and be like, okay, taxes, I have to move over $209 into my tax savings account. And I go, okay, $83.60. Okay, I'm going to write out a check for $84 to the church. And I'm like, done. And then business, I know that $292 is for business. Like I have it all separated. And then I have it for the year. I wish I wasn't so lame with my mouse. Okay. I have it for the year. And so you can even see the yearly totals at the end. So I can kind of like go in and see where I'm at for the year already at any given moment. I don't have to like go into my back online office and try and calculate each one. So I uploaded that tracker blank for you guys into our Team BTFP site page. And so you can just add in all your facts and figures, and it's automatically going to tell you how much to put everywhere. Now, those percentages are based off of what I do, so you'll have to adjust it if you want to do something different. And then divide your income each month or each week, whichever works for you, into your separate amounts, and then start building the life that you've dreamed of with intentionality. And that's it. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer. I know this went a little long. And then do I just hit stop share, Becca?